Why were you late for work? I got stuck behind a guy walking a building around. That's just Texas roads. Ah, Starship's got a blanket on it. It's probably cold, Geeson. Yeah. Yeah, Thomas, that's cool that the new Glen Pathfinder is out and about, dude. I bet you they're taking it over to the TCAT, if I had to guess, to start kind of fleshing out what they're going to do once the stage is manufactured and go from there. I think that's everything. I think we're caught up, dudes. Okie dokie. Time for KSP. Let's do it. We have some stuff to figure out with the SSTO. I'm trying to just basically get the SSTO ready to go. There is some stuff with the pad that Anth has been helping me troubleshoot. I hope he's here. I hope Anth's here. So... basically going to see if we can hammer out the stuff with the pad and get it ready to go. This is mission mode. I think we're up to... I think it's somewhere in the 230s. Let me see what Drummer said. 233. Okay. That excuse only works for NASA employees. Yeah, right? We need to kill this with big fire. You know what, Bandit? Like, here's the thing. Here's my thing. I don't like the Mach-E, but when you take the Mach-E and they put a lowering kit on it and it doesn't look like a crossover SUV, I don't really mind it as much. Because now it just looks like a car. And then the Mustang name makes a lot more sense. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still looks like a goddamn shoe, and I freaking can't stand that. But when it's lowered on big tires, and it's lowered to, oh, I don't know, car ride height, it doesn't look that bad. It just looks like a 5-door coupe. It looks like an Impreza 5-door. I don't mind that. Looks fine to me. That doesn't really look that bad. You know? Like, that's okay. It's basically an electrified Ford Focus. Yeah, right? Oh. Nice, Ford. Nice, Forge. That's cool. Ford needs to apologize now. Now, don't get me wrong, Bright. That's the Mustang name notwithstanding. That, like, look, I love Ford. Like, come on. Like, you guys know that. Like, duh. That's not a Mustang. I understand what you were trying to do. The Mustang generates chatter about the Mach-E. Naming that thing, putting a Mustang name on that generates chatter. It makes people talk about it, all right? That's good. That's what you want. That's why they did it. I'm pretty dang sure. Either that or they're just horribly out of touch with their user base, but who knows? Yeah, I hate it, dude, brother. It's so stupid. Why are we building and making cars that look and work well on European roads for the American market? It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Isn't it bigger than a Focus though? Yeah, it's like a station wagon, which is what Americans want. I mean, we should have never stopped making a station wagon, or what are they called in Europe? Estates. Hey, Pepines, what's going on? Like, but once again, when you lower it and actually make it look like a car, I don't mind it as much. It's still an egg with wheels, but with Ford's new electric crate motor, we can now make better electric Mustangs than Ford themselves. Yes, my man. A grocery getter, yeah. Yeah, you know, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. Ford came out, and this is cool. We'll move over to space news with this. Let's see, where is it? Here. So Ford came out with a crate electric motor. A crate electric motor for vehicles. And to kind of showcase it, they made this 78. They said it's a 78, but it's got a 79 front clip on it. They took this and they made it into a... They basically shoehorned a Mach-E drivetrain underneath this thing. This is a pickup truck that has like... What did it say? 480 horse, 634 foot-pounds, all-wheel drive, all electric. It's a Mach-E underneath, which is cool. See, if they called it something like the Ford Focus Rally or something like that, it would have been brilliant. Oh, I agree, Tessa. Yeah. Like, I just not... What are you doing? Like, all right. Like, and you know, like I was talking to Brimo's dad and about this one time, and Brimo's dad was so Joey Blue Skies. He does work off and on with the automotive industry. And one time he was talking. I mean, and obviously there's people that live around them that work at Ford, right? One time he was talking to, I forget if he was at work or whatever. He was talking to a Ford exec or whatever, or somebody that was like works in Ford's like with design, and they were like, what do you think of the Mach-E? And he's like, I think it's horrible. Why would you do that? And the guy, Joey Blue Skies was telling me that the guy that he talked to from Ford was generally like, what do you mean? You don't like it? No, we don't. Like, not at all. Is it really an F100 if it doesn't have a 3-speed on top of a 58 mile an hour downhill? I mean, it has a 1-speed in it, Aranor. Like, I don't know if that's better or worse. Mach-E is 42 grand. Ew. Well, the marketing team who only spoke to the shareholders said you'd like that. Yeah, Smirks, that's what I'm starting to think. Ow. Sorry about that. Why is that so loud? Why Windows? Why do you do this? Windows, why are you the way that you are? Sorry about that, fellas. All right. There we go. There we go. Anyway. All right. Also, this happened. What's Jim saying? Who doesn't love a throwback? I'll see what I can do. Casey Neistat says, careful, Ford. You go and release a truck like this and you're going to find yourself atop a throne for the coolest freaking car company on the planet. And what did Jim say to that? Who doesn't love a throwback? I'll see what I can do. Oh, don't you dare. Oh, you son of a... Don't... How dare you... Why would you dangle that? Why would you do that? If Ford rolled out with a brand new 79 F100 with the electric drivetrain, I will crap my pants. That would be awesome. On stream? No. I gave myself an out there, Cirrus. Yeah. I gave myself an out. We don't have to do that on stream. Yeah. An EV Falcon. A Mark 1 Falcon checkered with 500 horsepower and 600 foot-pounds of torque. The chassis wouldn't be able to take those two electric motors, man. Chassis wouldn't do it. If they revived it, would you buy one? I'd consider it. Serious. I would consider it. That's something I would consider trading the Mustang for. I wouldn't do it, but I'd consider it. It's faster. It's a pickup truck. And it's faster. It'd be faster than my Mustang. Like, way faster.
You made me consider something.
Oh, dear.
If I'm Ford, is there any reason not to release all these vintage bodies with upgraded electric motors up to current safety standards and sell them again as, like, rehashes?
Is there any reason not to?
Yeah. Like, is there, like, because to me that just seems like an obvious moneymaker. Like, obviously you have to go back and, like, retool your factories like you would for any other car.
Yeah, but these parts are simple and easy to make, to be honest. Car manufacturing from, like, 30, 40 years ago is Stone Age stuff compared to what they do now. I mean, safety standards would probably be the big one.
Yeah.
With car and Bree, you can talk to your dad about this. I know he'll know all about this. Like A-pillar width, so like the roof has to be a certain thickness. The part of the windshield has to be like the parts that hold the windshield on the sides. They're called A-pillars. Those have to be a certain thickness for modern production cars. But you see, there is a lot of emissions stuff, right? But that doesn't obviously apply here. So
I wonder if the government, I wonder if safety standards alone are enough of a reason to not do it.
But that's the thing. There might be some waiver on EV stuff. EV stuff might be different regulation. Like, for the longest time, pickup trucks were regulated, and they still are. Pickup trucks are regulated differently than cars, you know? So simple and easy to make, but with nowhere that has the tech to make it. A retool for these cars would be huge. Yeah, that would be hard to do.
But is it any harder than making a new car? So I'm looking at this like, why do we remake old movies? Because we know they're gonna sell because everybody loves rehashes.
Mm-hmm.
So why would we remake an old car? For the exact same reason. You know it's gonna sell.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at my Mustang. It doesn't bear a passing resemblance to a '69 Mustang for no reason, right? Like,
right. So I'm just wondering if companies aren't sitting there going,
I mean,
I don't have to come up with new ideas. I just put an electric motor in something.
Like, yeah, I mean, what's really stopping like stopping Ford from just making a Gen 1 Mustang again is the engine is not up to modern emission standards, right?
Right.
Like, there's no way. But like with EVs, that changes everything. And once again, like, you saw the tweet that this whole conversation is based on.
Yeah, that's what made me think of this.
Jim said, I mean, dude, if Jim has the corporate capital to actually get that done and like mass produce that thing, I'm telling you, I would consider buying one.
I would too, and that's why I'm like,
Yeah, that would get me to sell one of my cars.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for answering my question.
I mean, Savvy brought up a good point. Like, you'd have to retool an entire factory. But they're like, Savvy, that's the thing. They're already retooling factories for electric drivetrains, so
right. Why not put in a little bit like,
hey, Tweets, what's going on?
Anyway, that's my $1 million idea for the day. If I'm smart enough to think of that, I'm sure Ford is.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the other thing, Savvy, is that this truck, they say it's a modded truck. This is a Mach-E chassis underneath. It's a custom chassis that's designed to accept Mach-E components. So it's basically a modern chassis underneath it.
Alright, I'm leaving. Bye.
Alright, Bree. Dude, yeah, no, I would consider buying one. I'm dead serious. You trade the Mustang for that? Yeah, sure. I'd consider it. I don't know. It really depends. If it was like, see, okay, I have this theory, and I'm going to load up KSP while we're doing this. I have this theory, and the theory is basically this. Tesla's cars are awesome. People want electric cars, but there's a lot of people out there that are hesitant to buy an electric car for a couple of reasons. there's the whole range anxiety thing, but I think Tesla has been able to basically overcome that, right? I think the big reason why people don't want an electric car nowadays is because of right to repair. Long story short, they're too complicated. It's too much. It's too much stuff. If you're out in these folks that are out in the middle of the country, right? Which, like I said, I know I always consider this, but that's a huge market. That's your pickup truck market, dudes. For the people in the U.S., the market is pickup trucks, center of the country, right? I mean, obviously on the coast too, but that's the big one, right? If you're gonna convince these people that to get an electric vehicle, one, you got to solve that range problem first and foremost, and two, it has to be simple. If you made a simple, reliable electric truck that's easy to work on and easy to fix, whoever does that is gonna hit pay dirt, billions of dollars of revenue. I'm dead serious about that, and that's what I mean. Jim's probably considering it for that reason. Plus, with an electric, you can go back to a body-on-chassis design. Yeah, that's true. Three, rebuild the entire energy grid. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Savvy, there's also that. People don't want that. They don't want that crap. Not that it's crap. The full self-driving stuff is really cool. That's really neat, but people don't want that. They just want something that's simple and easy to move around. That's why people like old cars, because they're simple. Electric cars basically afford us to start over. We can wipe the slate clean, start simple, because electric cars are way simpler, right? One, you're basically eliminating the transmission, right? Yeah, not buy my car and then subscribe to it. Yeah, Smirks, it's gross. I hate that. Anyway, all right. All right, so Anth, can you link up the video of you trying out the SSTO? We made some slight changes to the SSTO yesterday. One of the big changes will afford us better integration operations and whatnot. A drop-on chassis for a Mach-E chassis is the most real way you could see an old-looking modern car. Yep. You'll never have one, Pop Bear. Toyota doesn't want to do electric. Toyota is trying to work towards hydrogen. Seriously, Toyota's said many times they're never going to do that. You're never going to get a fully electric Camry, that's a shame. But hey, whatever. So, one of the changes that we made, and we have the Block 3 variant of this, one of the changes that we made was eliminating the center wheels. We don't need them. I put the center wheels in there as a response to the structural problems that we were having. It was basically a Band-Aid fix. We had it tested. Anth did some testing for me, and we got rid of them. We don't need them. This will help us. It'll help us because, one, the SSTO is about probably 2 tons worth of landing gear, a little bit lighter, which is good. And the part count's less. There were 4 landing gear, and there were 2 struts attached to each landing gear. So you have 4 landing gear, 2 struts attached to each, 4 times 3. That saved us 12 parts. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. Every little bit counts here. This will also allow us to be able to work on a slightly different integration mechanism for this thing, which would be really nice. Toyota and Subaru are releasing an all-electric car next year. It's the first I've heard about it. Apparently, Toyota has released a fully electric car, so apparently what I said isn't right. So, hey, whatever. Yeah, whatever. So I guess they're releasing a fully electric car, so fig it. Never mind. Let's talk about the SSTO. I've already turned the page, chat. Let's do this. Yeah, Bill, that's cool. I want to get working on this. I'm a little bit behind on the schedule today. We're a little bit behind on the timelines. We got to get going. So, Anth did some testing for me. Check this out. Take a look. So this is the 3-point design. So I took away the 747 landing gear. So this just has the 2 gear on the outside here. I'm pretty dang sure if it can survive that, we're good to go. Bonk. You sure it's the best to bump it that much? Yeah. And that was induced. Yeah, that was on purpose. 10 meters a second vertical speed. I'm fairly confident in my abilities as a pilot to say that that'll never happen unless something really bad has happened during re-entry. So it was a stress test. Yep. I haven't, Sawyer. Anyway, so I switched to the 3-wheel design. The 3-wheel design allows us to be able to change up the type of integration vehicle as we see fit. Because guys, we ran into a little bit of a thing. The reason why I'm looking to get rid of landing gear, etc., is because when I went to make the payload changeout device last night, we made it, and I'm fairly confident that it works. But I ran into one thing. The payload changeout device. So the SSTO is designed to be dragged in here, right? And then it's just sitting on its landing gear, right? Just sits on the landing gear. And then from there, right? From there, we pick up payloads out the back, right? The SSTO is basically sitting right here. We drive a payload truck in. The big gantry crane picks the payload up and puts it in. I had Anth do more testing for me, inducing a snap dock here while the landing gear were on the ground, and it Kraken strikes the whole thing, just as I thought. I noticed something. Docking payloads to a vehicle that has its landing gear loaded up, if you snap dock, right, it could either unload the landing gear and the whole thing could fall, or it could load the landing gear too much and Kraken strike them into the ground, which is what happens. So retract the gear and rest it on the ground. How? I obviously understand how you hit G, all right? So the thing is not designed to do that. It's not designed to sit on its belly like that. I don't know. It's not my job. Okay, where the rocket comes down is not your department. Got it. That's the reason why I eliminated the center gear. Because if I had a vehicle that drove in underneath the SSDO and scooped it up, right? And then that vehicle, like, had air brakes and the air brakes were lifting it up off the ground, right? Then that vehicle, that type of integration vehicle will not only solve our alignment problems, but it'll also fix this problem as well. A Harrier milk stool. Oh, that thing. Yeah, where the guy's front nose gear malfunctioned and yeah, I remember this. Like that, Savvy? mean, this doesn't necessarily solve the landing gear problem here, you know? I mean, just put a stool under it and pull the gear up. Yeah, Savvy, I'm not too incredibly sure how, if you have, like, the SSTO, right? Right, you have your SSTO, and then you have another vehicle that it's literally sitting on, right? So you have, what is that part of? So that's the crane, right? That's part of the crane if we make it the craft file. That's not an E. And then if we pick stuff up with the crane and then dock, I'm not sure how that's gonna work when we dock stuff. That could also crack and strike, I'm pretty sure. My solution was to take these jacks and make them their own vehicle, right? And then somehow have a way to retract the wheels and have the vehicle knelt down so it's sitting on solid. So instead of making that the crane, it's its own vehicle, right? It's its own vehicle and it's attached to the SSTO, and the crane still stays separate. Still stays separate. Still stays separate. There you go. It would have to be a separate vehicle, Savvy, if we were going to do something like that. I don't want to make the stool part of the vehicle that docks payloads. I don't want to make it part of the crane. It would have to be a different craft file, which is fine. Like, it's doable. Hey, Swishio. No, not at all. We're in a little bit of a problem, like a little bit of a weird thing going on with the SSTO. How about just air brakes on the SSTO? Is it too late for that integration? You could always just have an engineer surface attach beams to the bottom of it. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back, okay? I'm just gonna... Jason, that's not a bad idea. I thought of something, but I'll mention it when I get back. I'm just gonna use the restroom real quick. Okie dokie. Your boy's back. So, yeah, guys, with the payload integration, we're having a little bit of problems here. What's going on with this is What's going on is that, yeah, we have landing gear touching the ground, and that's not okay. Could you have the jet truck tug somehow also be the vehicle to rest on? Well, that's why I eliminated the center gear, Hip, because that could potentially get rid of that problem. If we don't have the center gear there, it gives me space to be able to put something like instead of the jet truck, we make jet truck Mark II, right? The truck's still going to need jet engines to be able to push the dang thing up the hill, right? So it's just going to be a better version of jet truck that's underslung, you know what I mean? It attaches underneath. What I'm thinking is a vehicle, right? A vehicle that drives underneath this thing, right? And it picks up on the forward bipod docking port right there, which is attached to the root part, right? It picks up on that. It'll attach to that somehow. We have to somehow get the thing aligned somehow. And then once we do that, once we get the whole thing aligned, right, then we can dock. And what I could do is have that vehicle, let's see, how would we do that? Do we have a horizontal takeoff SSTO? No. I'm gonna push with this for now because we don't have the parts to make a horizontal takeoff SSTO how I want to. Could you just put it up on hydraulic actuated jacks just enough to take the compression out of the wheels? Well, then it takes that same problem happens with your robotics, only instead of Kraken striking, they drift. That's the problem that we're dealing with there. So, what happens to the strongback? And the docking port on the strongback, basically, you take the girder segment off and then you make it so the hydraulic is in the strongback, and that docking port moves up. Like, you'd have to eliminate the girder segment and just put same vessel collision or puts SVI on the docking port, right? And then you just have the hydraulic have a little bit of a longer throw. Rapiers or whiplash plus nukes. Rapiers is the way I want to do it. What if you never needed to dock the loader? Just make it slide so the cargo drops right where it needs to go. That's susceptible to Kraken Strike's electrocutor. Yeah. A vehicle sitting on top of another vehicle that docks to another vehicle is... I wouldn't do that. Fill me in, please. Are you trying to solve that payload integration problem? Yeah. Remember, fellas, there's always the VOD. You can always just go back in the VOD. I explained it. Yep. So, let's see. Alright, so we have the vehicle that rolls on rover wheels, right? It goes on rover wheels, and then that vehicle needs to rise and rise up and align to your SSTO. It needs to rise up and align to this thing, right? That's how that needs to work. And then once it does that, it's gonna need jet engines on it too. Once it does that, if we want to move this thing around, it rises up and attaches, then we retract the gear on the SSTO. But then again, that's docking to something with gear on it. Maybe lowering the gear. Aerospace was thinking about a payload holder in the bay with shielded ports so you could undock the crane from the payload before docking the payload to the SSTO. That's how I wanted to do it on Collins. That's how I had it set up for Collins, Jason. Yeah, because there was no same vessel collision. I used kind of a drop it, stage it, hold it in place, right? And yeah. Jason, that's not a bad idea. I have an honest question. Is that idiot-proof enough for me? Am I going to remember to do that every time? I guarantee you there's a time where I will forget to do that and we will have a payload just moving around inside of the payload bay during integration or liftoff. I don't think I'm smart enough to be able to remember that every single time, dude. I think that's a good idea, and if we have to do it that way, we will, but I think it goes against my idiot-proofing things. Do you like Age of Empires? Not really into it, Samasti, but it's a cool game. No, Pythos, if I become reliant on checklists, I'm just going to make something super complicated and use the checklist as a crutch for the fact that I made something super complicated and useless. It needs to be simplified. Simplified enough so I can remember it. You got to remember, I'm not like an A&P. I can't just sit here, read the manual, check it, read the manual, check it. I have to talk to you guys, and I have to keep you entertained. Remember? While I fly. It has to be idiot-proof, and I'm not going to budge on that. Why not write a flight pre-check like they would in real life? For the reasons I literally just said. No pilot does not use a checklist. No pilot is talking to a chat with 500 people in it either. The shuttle always use checklists as well. Okay, here's the point. Here's you guys. Woohoo! You missed it completely. Guys, you're not listening. Like, I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Anytime we try to design something idiot-proof, they just go and design a better idiot. Alright, fine. I won't clue you guys in. I'm just going to do this the way I want to do it, okay? Alright, so let me get back to thinking about this. Let's go. So we move up in here. We dock to that. We're going to need to put some kind of alignment mechanism down here for the vehicle. That's fine. And we might have to end up like putting an I-beam here or something. Like an I-beam in an alignment position here, right? So this thing drives up. We drop down the air brakes. It docks to it, right? And then if I want to put it on the rover wheels, we retract the gear, and then the rover wheels can move around. So how do we put it so it's not on anything that's sprung? Because if we put it on nothing that's sprung, right? So meaning no, like when we're doing payload integration operations, this thing can't be it can't be on landing gear. I don't want it to be on landing gear when we're trying to put something in it. So are we saying to not use the checklist because of the fun value? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. No, man. I have checklists, guys. I have them. The thing is that they're idiot-proof. Like, if I just sit here and say, I'm going to implement a system and write a checklist for said system, the stream could easily just devolve into me doing a checklist for 3 hours and then me doing 30 minutes of launch. Like it does with the engineering, right? There needs to be a cap on it, okay? Checklists are the same way. I'm not against writing checklists. But I want to make sure that the checklist that I do write is boiled down to the point where I can memorize it. Because if I can't, then it's too complicated. I will miss a step. Guaranteed. You know, I know. I made checklists for the shuttle. And we had, like, for Collins, we had this whole stupid thing of making checklists for the shuttle. And I ended up just messing with the stupid checklist the entire time. It's a big waste of time. It has nothing to do with the entertainment value. It's the fact that I have to balance. I have to make the checklist as simple as possible because a lot of my attention is divvied up into explaining stuff like what I'm doing right now. And it's very hard to be able to multitask like that. That would be like a football quarterback commentating on what he's doing as the play is happening. or a race car driver doing commentary while they're racing. It's really, really difficult to do. That's why I make this stuff as simple as I possibly can. The integration operations need to be as simple and as foolproof as possible, to the point where I can do them on autopilot, to the point where I wouldn't need a checklist. Understand? I know it doesn't sound right, but you guys don't understand what it's like to stream with 500 people watching you either. Like, I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. I'm pretty sure I have experience in this matter, you know what I mean? Resting the SSDO is a great idea. I don't like the idea of resting a third craft involved with the collisions. I'm with you on that one. Yeah. Oh, we can use the checklist. Okay. Alright. Yeah. I'm nixing the checklist conversation now. I mean, you guys can keep talking about it in chat if you want to. I'm not participating. And it's not because you're necessarily wrong. It's because you're missing the point. I don't mind making checklists. I have checklists.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
The checklists need to be simplified enough to where I can memorize it. That's the only way stuff will get done routinely and correctly on the stream. Like, I don't know how many times I need to say it, but that's all I'm saying. That's it. So, let's go back to this. All right, so you got to drive the vehicle up. Now, so we have rover wheel state, right? Jason, what are we going to use for a riser here? Are we going to use air brakes? Now, if we put stuff on air brakes, is it susceptible to a Kraken strike? I'm not sure. Hey, NX120, 13-month resub. I'm thinking about it, Swishio, yeah. Thomas, what's the ETA on that? We've begun preparations for static fire in Kodiak. Our launch window shifted to November 8th through the 14th. Okay, so next week. Got it. Yeah. See, that's the other thing. The risers would need to... Yeah, so how the heck are we gonna do that, Jason? Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the air brake option either. That's the thing. So how have we done this in the past? So with the cranes, it's landing gear, and then when the landing gear is down... What about reusing the structural part of the launch pad? Or is it still too many parts without all that robotics? Well, AVS, that's how we did it with the old SSTO, dude. That's how I did it with the old SSTO. What I did was I docked it to the pad, and then I folded the landing gear up, and when it was docked to the pad in the horizontal position, that's when I started putting payloads in. The problem with that is that the pad for this SSTO is a lot bigger, and I'm not entirely sure that making a crane for this thing, you know, I mean, it's gonna end up being like 2,000 parts, dude. But then again, we could just do it that way. That might be the right way to do it, you know? Whatever craft is holding up the SSTO, Swishio, if we decide to do that, needs to be docked. Yeah, it can't be two separate craft. That's asking for a Kraken strike as well. How about girders on servos that rotate from horizontal to vertical? I mean, Jason, isn't that gonna cause drift? You know? Make the crane on the pad a solid vehicle and will save a few parts comparatively. No, vehicles with higher part count actually give you worse performance, AVS. It would benefit if the crane was a separate vehicle. And even then, if I dock the crane to the pad and then use the crane to move payloads into the SSTO, you can't dock a vehicle to itself. That's also asking for a Kraken strike, man. Yeah. You can snap dock stuff that way, and that blows things up. If you have, like, if I take something and I dock it to the crane, right, and then I move it into the payload bay and I undock the crane, that second docking port, you know, that payload that I put in will become a separate vehicle for a second, and then it will attach, and that snap docks and blows things up. That Kerbal really doesn't like that. Yeah, good idea, but yeah, I don't want to do that way either, you know? Does the SSTO back into the crane? No, we pull it in forward right now. MB Doug is returning to Port Canaveral. Another delay might be coming for Crew 3. We covered that during Space News. I don't think it's going to go on the weekend, to be honest with you. Hey, Boo. What's going on? And the craft sit on air brakes like a boat and a dry dock. I've been pretty busy the past few weeks. Any noteworthy space news? SLS is stacked. Crew 3 is happening soon. Yeah. That's the big stuff. Yeah, it's pretty neat, dude. All right, okay, let's think about this. How do I do this with the, how do I do it with the cranes? The cranes are on landing gear. The cranes move, right? So what's the difference? The cranes don't have rover wheels. I use jet engines to move the pads and the cranes around. This thing is already going to have jet engines on it because it's jet truck. But if I make that move around on landing gear, and then we... Inflatable docking ports are good pistons without drift. You think enough inflatable docking ports would be strong enough to hold this thing up, Jason? You can ground anchor to the building, Smirks, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Think that'll work? Air balloons are strong. Okay. Boo, what's going on? They're gonna try to make it to the Cape for the SLS launch? That's the plan, yeah. I'd love to. I'm not sure if you can do that, Smirks. Maybe. How much mass is this thing? 280 tons. $280 tons, huh? Okay, I got an idea. We'll test it. Let's just round it up to 300 tons, because you never know if there's payload in the payload bay or something. We'll round it to 300. Let me find a test file. I'm pretty sure I have a test craft file in here. I don't know what the heck I was testing with this, but umbilical attachment testing. Okay, yeah, let's get rid of that. Alright, so we need 300 tons of mass. That's 144. So we're at 288. That's close to where we were. Now, give me 2 of these guys here. Alright. Let's put the 2 kickbacks there. Keep the solid fuel in them because that puts us at 336 tons. That's good. That's what we want. Now, give me mirror struts. Just put a mirror strut there to make sure these tanks don't move. Alright, now let's go to those docking ports here. Where's the inflatable? So this is about the same mass as the SSTO. What I'm gonna do though is this here. Ready? I'm going to put air brakes down, and I'll tell you why I'm going to do that in a second. I'm going to put air brakes, landing gear, the docking port, and everything down so we can compare a bunch of different things. Okay. What do the 2 DLCs add to KSP? More rocket engines, animatable parts. Dude, yeah, the DLCs are worth it. They're supplementary to the original Kerbal, and they make it a better game, which is what DLCs should do. That, and honestly, if you're not sold on the DLCs, the modding content will more than bridge the gap. You know, modding content for KSP is quite good. But my horse armor. Alright, let's see what this does. Hoping to see you there. I'll try to be there, boo. How would I know about the modding content of KSP? You never used any. I talked to your mother. Shut the hell up. Jesus Christ. Yeah, the end is an animatable. If I attached a skid pad to it, it wouldn't move with this thing, dude. That's the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, it was a good idea. Didn't work, though. They do hold it up. They do. They do. And maybe with an aligner, it wouldn't do that as much. Or with more of these things. That's probably something worth testing, you know? Alright, so let's do a couple of things here, Jason. Let's see. More. How did I do that? Actually, dude, I thought, you know, that might work. Guys, mind if I check something real quick? I got an idea. So you guys remember the crane that we made, right? You remember when we went to make that? The lattice crane? I tried to make something like the crane from the crane that SpaceX is using, right? We tried to make something like that. Well, I got an interesting idea. Let me go into my engineering mode save and let me check something here. I might be able to get this done right. Gone through like 6 packs of these things over the last week. My trash can is just straight up cough drop wrappers. It's just an excuse to eat candy. Sure. So, there's something that I did with this. Here, check this thing out. It's pretty awesome. But this thing down here, how much does this thing weigh? It weighs 120 tons. I put this thing on jacks. But the thing about it is, what I did was I had the Kerbals come out and they ran struts. Right? I had the Kerbals run struts like this. And then when we weren't setting this thing up, I had them take all the struts away and these things could just fold back into position. They would just, like that. But see, here's that thing again though. Am I gonna remember to do that every time? Or well, the vehicle doesn't even need this, but I did run struts to the hydraulics like that.
Discovery.
This is your counter offer, Anth? Let's see. Gazos, 23-month resub. We could lift the craft with the hydraulics on the vehicle, Smirks. You lift it with hydraulics and then move it, and then strut the hydraulics into place. But then again, that's time consuming, you know? But it did work. Anth, what is this? Anth, what did you do to my pad? It's a crane. I removed the guts of it to drop the part count. Oh, I see what you... Yeah, okay, I see what you did there. But how does this solve our problem? The crane and the anchored pad in this instance are the same thing. How does that solve anything? When are we going to deep space? Once we solve these problems, Feels, I'm trying to get us ready to go by the end of this week, dude. The SSDO is docked. Yeah, you're going to get a snap dock between payloads, Anth. I already talked about that. 2,000 horsepower crate engine from SDPC. Oh, that's cool, man. Neat. I'll have to read. I'll read about that. I'll click on it. We'll read about that later. Okay. Yeah, that's not going to work, Anth. How do you dock the payload? So you take the payload, you put it in, right? And then you undock the payload. The second you undock the payload from this, the payload becomes a freestanding vehicle for a second, and then it'll snap dock to the SSDO on this. That's asking for a Kraken strike, dude. That double dock thing, that changed docking priority, dude, that's what blew up Condor's pads so many times because I didn't understand that could blow things up when you double dock stuff. I had a crane that says you're wrong. I had a crane that never snap docks. And there's no way. There's that snap docks things. That's every time, dude. Like it snap docks something every freaking time. Like the... Do you have to make a crane in this game, or is it because you think it's interesting to make? It's part of my rule set, Feels. My rule set is to build out the GSE. The idea behind that is to show people the technical problems that are associated with rocketry. It's not just building the rocket. Figuring out the end-to-end system is a lot more difficult than one might think. That's the whole purpose of it. It's supposed to be difficult. It's supposed to be a logic challenge. It's supposed to be this complicated. That's the whole purpose. Feels, I understand people want to see me launch the damn thing. I get it. I know. I understand. Unfortunately, a byproduct of being able to use Kerbal to demonstrate how the real-life process works is that we do get bogged down from time to time. Not all of the space program is just launching rockets all the time, right? I understand that. I get it. I get you. I know where you're coming from. But trust me, this feels... Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, in this particular application, what we're trying to figure out, and what we're trying to get done, is I'm trying to eliminate all known unknowns. So I'm trying to eliminate all the things that could bog down and keep me on the ground during operational missions. I'm finishing the development of the SSTO. If we can solve this payload integration problem that I'm talking about right now, if I If I can solve it, and we can get it done, and we can be assured that we're never going to have a Kraken strike, and the system will literally be idiot-proof, right? Just like the small SSTO, then we're good. In this, guys, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm thinking about it, it might just be a good idea to just freaking build the crane, build a big crane for the other pad and make it a separate vehicle, just like what we do. That might be the solution, man. I mean, I don't know, dudes. What do you think? You think that building... I mean, it's doable. I could just use this crane. And we could integrate Payload pretty much the exact same way. Yeah, but Antleov is talking about KSP, you know, as a sandbox game at its heart. You do what you want, do whatever makes you happy. And that's true. There's no wrong way to play Kerbal, as long as you're having fun. Fun for me is overcoming these challenges, even though it's not fun to overcome the challenges. Overcoming the challenge and showing that it works and pushing KSP to bounds that people never could think it could go to is what makes me happy. That's how I like playing, you know? That's what makes it fun, dude. If I can push this thing into working, we are this close. This thing is perfect end to end. We just got to button up some things with the pad here and there. Small couple of things there. Figure out a small couple of details. Is getting Payload in this thing that big of a thing to figure out? No, not really. It's no different than any other problem that we had to solve on this. I can tend to say that the structural problem that put me out a couple million Kerbucks is that blew up a couple of SSDOs on landing probably was a more serious problem to solve. We figured that one out. This thing is good. It's good from launch all the way until landing. We're just trying to figure out the landing part. And the thing is, we got most of the landing part already figured out. Towing the vehicle, putting the thing on the pad, already figured that one out. There's just small fixes to the pad that we need to make to get it a little bit more reusable to prevent drift. Anth is helping me fix those problems. So the pad problems aren't that big of a deal. And if the pad problems aren't that big of a deal, all I have to solve is the Payload integration. Once I solve the Payload integration, mission a night, dudes. Straight up, just like it was back in the day. Mission a night. And that's what I'm trying to push to by the end of this week. I'm trying to get us operational again. And I will do it. That's what I'm trying to push to. That's why I didn't want to get hung up about talking on checklists for so long. I'm like, dudes, I gotta get this done. I want to get this done. Trust me. We can make a checklist when I have all this figured out, dudes. Not right now. It could be 2 a night, Hellfish, if we do this right. But bare minimum 1, easily. Yeah, 1. So we could build up space station components. We could bring up space station components, put them back down. We could spend a stream integrating all the mission components and put them out, or get everything ready, and then over the next, week, we could just bring them out and launch them using the same SSDO over and over and over again. Oh, that's cool. Nice, goalie. Sweet. All right. Anyway. I got 8 relaunches off of the same large SSTO. It's still working okay. Okay. Where did the payloads come from? How is the process from that loader different than the loader to the SSTO? Electrocutor, the small SSTO? Well, with the big one, the reason why I consider different payload integration operations in the first place is because of the pad part count. The big SSTO, which is double the part count of the small SSTO, well, it's a little under double, has a pad that's double the part count. The LV5B2 pad, this thing. This is the pad that I need to make this thing work. Keep in mind, guys, it has to be heavy enough to be able to turn the SSTO upright and not have the pad flip over. That's why the pad is so big and why it's so chunky. I could just make a crane that works with this, dudes. We could do it. Just make one that works. We could do it. It would be a lot of parts floating around in one scene, and we'd have to do the integration with the pad in scene, so we'd... Do you have an absolute maximum part count? It's 1,600. 2,000 would probably be the best, Hip. 2,000... After 2,000, it would become very unbearable. Like, it would suck. It wouldn't be fun. Can we integrate the payloads away from the pad then and then stack? Well, Hellboard, that was my original idea. That's why I made the payload changeout device in the first place. And when I made the payload changeout device, now we ran into this landing gear being on the ground when we dock stuff. Because when the SSTO is docked to the pad, right, and then I use the crane to put payloads in, there's no landing gear touching the ground because the SSTO is docked to the pad. The pad is sitting on the ground with parts that have high impact tolerance. No collisions. You don't have to worry about it. Even if you do crack and strike the pad just bounces a little bit. That's what I mean about making stuff idiot-proof. So, I came up with this option, the payload changeout device. Basically, where we roll the SSTO in this way, I use air brakes to kind of hold it in position, and then behind the SSTO, I park a payload changeout truck, we pick this thing up, and we put it in. We pick payloads up off the back here, and we can put them in the SSTO, right? That would be a good idea. That's a cool way to do that. Problem is that the SSTO is sitting on its landing gear. So if I get one bad snap dock, this thing it'll compress the landing gear, and then we made a Kraken drive. The SSTO goes up, it Kraken drives, it hits the crane goes boom, SSTO goes boom, and I'm out 600 grand. That's the problem that I'm running into. See what I'm talking about? There's a way out there to do this right. We just gotta hone in on it. That's all. Now, Anth, your idea of having a separate integration bay with the pad base plate might not be the worst idea, dude. The top of the crane exploded. The SSTO, I don't think took too much damage. What if you put the SSTO on the ground with the gears retracted? Well, yeah, AVS, the problem is I have guide rails and stuff. I have guide rails and stuff underneath it, so it's going to be sitting on those guide rails, so it'll pinch them. And then when we go to dock, it'll clip into those things and blow up. Or just, worst case scenario, it'll just cause damage to the SSTO. So I can't, if I wanted to do it that way, I couldn't put anything underneath it. The guide rails are a problem now. You know? Hey, Bio! Gifted a sub to period of time. Thanks, buddy. And then the 35-month resub. Thank you. And Spring Zero doesn't prevent the Kraken drive. Spring Zero actually makes the Kraken drive happen. It makes it happen easier. We figured that out from making the Kraken drives. We compressed the landing gear inside of a spacecraft one time, dudes. And compressing the landing gear over time, if you use a hydraulic to just compress it and compress it and compress it more, it applies an acceleration to your vehicle. We were able to make a drive that was basically only limited to by how much the hydraulic could push. The more hydraulic I added, and the more power, the more electrical power the thing required, but the more delta V it had. We were accelerating stuff to like 300,000 meters a second in Kerbal, in stock KSP. We made an Epstein drive in stock KSP. It's doable. I know how to do it. Hard to do. Hard to get it right, but you can do it. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, man. Those Kraken strikes, man, have infinite power. They can apply 300,000 meters a second of delta V to something in an instant and blow it to smithereens. We've been away for a while. Good to catch a stream. Didn't you get a job, Bio? So yeah, it's stuff we gotta consider, dudes. Maybe... I've been working overtime because we're short staff. Yeah, AVS, the Mark III cargo ramp has infinite torque. Oh yeah. Yeah. Why not add some support directly on place where the shuttle came where to sit after you pull the landing gear? Okay, Black Shoe, we can do that. We could put airplane jacks. Sure, no problem. Are the airplane jacks going to be connected to the crane? Because setting a vehicle technically on top of another vehicle and then trying to dock that same vehicle to itself can cause nasty problems. Nasty problems, because how does it know that it's sitting on these when we dock it all together? We could use same vessel collisions, but you get like a momentary reset of physics whenever you dock two vehicles together, and that momentary reset of physics could drop the SSTO, and then my jacks basically go through the thing. Once again, I'm only speaking from experience, guys. This stuff happens. This is why we need to sit here and theory craft this out. But I'm telling you, I'm not doing this to just bore you. I'm doing this because, I mean, guys, I could implement any one of these ways. It'd take me 5 minutes. The key is to implement the way that A is the quickest and B won't blow the thing up. Does the crane need to be a separate vessel when loading the cargo? Ideally, Leop, yes. Yeah, that's the best way to avoid Kraken strikes, dude. Like, I'll show you an example of my other pad. I made a pad that was for conventional rockets, where we stacked rockets kind of like ULA stacks Atlas, right? And we would just pick stuff up and we'd stack the rocket, right? And then this thing was on landing gear, right? It would be on girders, and then we raised it on landing gear, and then I'd have a truck push it around, right? We'd have the truck push the thing. We'd push the thing out of the way, and then we would go to launch, right? And I put it on I-beam rails like a train so we could just move it back and forth. We need to do something like this. I need to have the SSTO on some kind of pedestal, and then the crane needs to move around the pedestal just like this launch pad. Okay. Yeah, Black Sue, we're doing things that are well beyond what Kerbal's capable of doing. Like, the developers never intended us to do this, but it's doable. You can do it. I see. We'd pick the first stage up, I'd stack it, pick the second stage up, pick the payload up, launch it. Yeah, there's Dart, by the way. I can't believe I actually landed one of those on the runway one time. Unbelievable. Oh, there's the crew access tower. Crew access tower would move out of the way, and then we'd go to launch, and yeah. We did a lot of work with that thing, man. It sucked. The day that Jeb got wailed on from that thing really sucked. But trust me, you guys will like the SSTO when we get it running like Dart. Even more. It'll run better than Dart, to be honest with you. See, pick up the stages. And we go to launch the rocket. I've made reusable pads. It's doable. It just... That freedom pad took me a while to figure it out. But once I figured it out, we knew. And I think making a facility where the SSTO docks, right? Might be the right move. So like, I have my, we say we build that vehicle that goes underneath it, right? And that has the rover wheels, right? And, oh, I just got an interesting idea. I just got a real interesting idea. I could make an SPMT for this thing, but see, I don't know if that's gonna drift. It might. Yeah, it does, Hellfish. Rocket Guy making an SPMT. A specialized one, though. Think about like the Kometo with the shuttle. One of my favorite piece of shuttle ground service equipment. Yeah, I know. What a freaking loser I am. One of my favorite pieces of ground service equipment is that thing. And I know, like, what is this, EJ? What are we looking at there, man? It's what they use to move the shuttles around on the ground. So the shuttle, when it landed, they would roll it back to the hangar with its landing gear. But when when they took the space shuttle and they were moving it to be launched, right? You want the landing gear folded up. Because it's not like there's a lever and the landing gear will retract on the shuttle. The landing gear had one option, open to close, and that's it. There's no close to open with the shuttle. So they would fold up the landing gear and then they would lift the entire shuttle up and they'd put it on this thing. There it is in 1985 with Enterprise. There it is in this is 2012 with Atlantis when they were moving Atlantis to the museum. And that's what the shuttle transporter does today. True story. SpaceX bought it from NASA for 37 grand. And then they put this bracket on top of it that adapts the space shuttle brackets to Falcon 9. Literally the same. That's the same vehicle. There it is in 1985. There it is in 2011. Here, and there it is in 2017, 2018. SpaceX still uses that thing. Yep. We could make something like that. Oh. This is my shuttle archive. It would be difficult. Self-propelled modular transporter. 37 grand. Hell, I could have afforded that. Alpha magnetic spectrometer. AMSO2. This is STS-134. Hey, Leglander, I'm good. All right, let's try for it. So this is a launch vehicle. All right, let me. 37 grand, Jonas. Yeah. Hey, Cosmo Quest, thanks for the raid. What was the Cosmo Quest channel up to today? Let's go over here. Could you just tow the craft over a ground anchor and dock it to Kerbin? Ground anchors drift, Shady. We proved that, remember? Especially when you dock something that's snapped to the ground anchor. What's up, Cosmo Quest Raiders? How are you? Alright, here's what we're going to do. Let me remove that here, okay? Now, let's see where our COM is. Our COM should be lined up right there. What I want is another docking port right here. Just find the dry COM of the vehicle, which is basically right there. That's fine. All right, turn this docking port over, right? And then bring this down here, like that. Okay. Now, if I grandparent strut this thing, because it's attached to the girder segment, it'll grandparent strut to the fairing, which is the root part of the vehicle. All right? That's the forward bipod strut right here. Hey, JM. I've been in that part of the internet again. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, so now that we have that lined up, I can reattach the jet truck to make sure this craft file doesn't get all messed up. I found a subreddit for taking... I don't need to know that, Jam. That's all right. So, that's the center of mass lower docking port, right? That's the forward bipod right there. Now, let's take some dimensions with this thing. I'm basically going to make a jig here that'll help me figure out the dimensions of this vehicle. And Rocket Guy, dude, I don't know if Kerbal's going to understand an SPMT. It's possible, but it might. I don't know. But how do it fly, though? Oh, Raychester, it flies fantastic. This thing flies great. Yeah. What I'm trying to accomplish, like, dude, I have the mission parts all figured out. There's two things that I'm trying to solve here. First one, get the thing back to the pad easily. Second thing, before we do that, is take out old payloads and put new payloads in, because this vehicle is fully reusable. Trying to convince Katniss that a kerosene hydrogen LOX tri-propellant system is a bad idea and that methalox would just be a better solution. Yeah. That's what methane is, CH4. It must, JM, Katniss must be because of application. Shouldn't the SBMT be moving things on a trailer? Rocket Guy, what I'm picturing in my head with the SPMT is, like the Kometo. What are you picturing in your head? The Kometo is just a purpose-built, self-propelled transporter.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Cargo space? No, cargo road. What's up, Mank? 56-month resub. Reread, you missed the like. Oh, shouldn't the SBMT be like moving things on a trailer? Be like moving things. Is the nose cone on the shuttle this whole thing? That is one solid piece, yes. It's not, it's cupped. So like if you cut the thing down the center flank and it looks like this. Think like a seashell almost. Think of it like a boat trailer. It just sits on it. Yeah. But Rocket Guy, wouldn't we want to dock to it? Okay. Here. Let's get rid of that. I'm going to keep that docking port there on the center of mass. We'll keep that aligned there. And we'll keep this in this design here. So let's do proof of concept for how the trucks are going to work on the SPMT. Okay. So get rid of this. Let's just do SPMT concept. Let's just say proof of concept. Proof of concept. Test design for a self-propelled transporter for moving ships and equipment around. Modified 11.3. All right, let's come up with a design here. So, next question. On top, above the nose cone where all the RCS is, it looks like that whole thing comes off. Yes. You can, yeah, that's how they refuel it. They got to take it off. They got to take it off, refuel it. It's like a, think of it like a rumble pack for an N64 controller. Same idea. You undo it, you send it over to hazmat processing where they refuel it because the shuttle uses hypergulls for its RCS. They're very corrosive. You want to make sure that you don't undo that while people are working on the rest of the shuttle. So they take the ohms pods. The ohms pods actually come off. And then that piece right there, yeah, that comes off too. They send that back over to processing. And the cool part is that it's interchangeable between shuttles. They could take Atlantis' RCS pod off and put it on Discovery, or vice versa. Most of the components on the shuttles are interchangeable. One of the things that isn't is the tiles. The tiles are not interchangeable, which is stupid. That was a dumb idea, but whatever. They had never made a tile system before, but yeah. All right. So, proof of concept for self-propelled modular transporters. Let's do this. So, how does an SPMT work? Yeah, look at Smirk's image. Yep, there it is. That's a cool picture, Smirks. Right, that's how I move things around in my program. Docking trailers and moving the vehicles with those trailers underneath. Oh, so you got like a bracket, Rocket Guy. So it's something more like this. So vehicle would be docked to the white bracket, and then the whole vehicle would pick that up. Is that what we're talking about? And then just use gravity to your advantage? I can't particularly, well, actually, that's how Delta 4 works. Delta 4 is integrated like that. Well, shoot, man. If that's the case, dude. Oh, that would make things so much easier. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, so how are we going to make this work? I'm gonna need a... This is all unsprung, if I'm remembering right. The thing about the SPMTs is that they don't have any suspension. And we don't have... There's no wheels in this game that don't have suspension on them. Unless we use rotors. Could work. Rocket Guy, does yours SPMTs use wheels or do they use rotors? Like, you know what? I'm gonna try it with wheels first, okay? Never seen the shuttle decommissioning pictures before. It looks so naked. Yeah. Yeah, I hate it. I hate everything about them. They installed those poo mock-up engines and it's just gross. Smirks, those pictures piss me off, dude. Like, deep-seated hatred for those pictures. Deep-seated. Like, it's so, it pisses me off so hard how, like, everyone was like, yes, it's a time to celebrate. I'm like, it is not a time to celebrate. You shut your dirty mouth. Ugh. And then every one of the people in those pictures, when they were done doing the job that they were doing in the pictures, they got a pink slip. Yeah, I have a deep-seated hatred. Like, I have no... Yeah, you could say I'm overreacting. I get it, dude. Space is my jam. Like, that's my favorite thing in the world. Like, deep-seated hatred. Yeah. Yeah. Not cool. Alright. So how are we gonna do this? So the SPMTs seem to have, like... It's something like... It's something like this, right? They have a hinge that goes like this. And then there seems to be like a hydraulic right here. Why would it be on like a control arm like that? Why would they do that? There's a reason. It's called an EDO pallet, T-Man, and yes, they did. I'm just gonna throw something together here and see if this thing freaking works. No damping on that. Disengage the motor there. Actually, you know what? We'll just keep these motors engaged. See what happens. it's not a bad idea with that strut, running that strut like that, but... See, we're going to have some problems here. I'm not sure how much this thing's going to be able to hold, you know? I don't know if this will be able to hold all this up. Like, I don't know how strong these things are. I don't know... Well, we're about to find out. Let me put it to you like that. I have a feeling that this is going to crack and strike, like, really badly. But even if it is, it doesn't cost that much money to mess with this thing. There are SRBs that are 2 I-beams in length. Thumpers are probably the closest one. If it dies, it dies. Much weight is on it? Nothing right now. That thing looks a lot like a jet engine trailer. Alright, cool. Good to know. How goes the KSP? Alright, Novus. I'm trying to build something like I'm trying to like prototype out a self-propelled modular transporter just to see what would happen. Building out an SPMT. I'm trying to just basically, yeah, I'm wondering what this thing would do. Because an SPMT, like something that can go under the SSTO, raise it up, and then move it around, might be a good way to do this. This is not engineering mode. No, I'm in mission mode. Something like that. No, it's more for the big SSTO, but. Interesting. Okay. It worked. Didn't work exactly how I was thinking, but it worked. First it's SBMTs, then it'll be crawlers. I've made tank treads in this game, and they work. I did it in engineering mode one time, just to see what would happen. Moo King, it looks like a jet engine trailer. Yeah. So what's your final take on Dune out of 10? I don't know, 8. Yeah, 8 probably is like 8, 8.5 or something like that. Dune's pretty cool. I thought it was cool. I kept track of it. Like, I didn't have any problems keeping up with the story. I like it. It's complicated. It's a tough story to understand. Yeah, I like it. It's good. Have you read the books? I read the books a long time ago. Basically, no. Yeah, no would be the right way to say that. Well, the treads are already done. Might as well finish the rest of the mobile launcher. Yeah. No. No. All right, Riv, have a good night. Did you see that there were more NVIDIA leaks which showed KSP2 releasing December 1st? More than likely a placeholder date. Yeah, that's not happening. If it does, I'll be actually pretty damn impressed. All right, so this time we're gonna do something a little bit different. Give me 4 tons of payload. Let's put this thing on top and we'll see what it does. Let's see if the wheels freak out. I have a feeling they will, but let's see. You know what? You know what the thing is, Entropy? And you know what? This might be an unpopular opinion. Cyberpunk's a pretty good game. It's not groundbreaking, but it's a good game. I liked it. I thought it was neat. I like the story. I like the open world. I like the... It's the same kind of... It scratches the same kind of itch that Far Cry is right now. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. Actually, I never beat the damn thing, so I don't even know what happens. We'd be playing Forza 5. I hadn't really considered it, to be honest with you. Did you ever finish Red Dead? No. Shoot, man. There's a lot of stuff I need to finish. Yeah, see, did you see what I did messing with the suspension like that? It's a little bit on the buggy side, dudes. But, yeah, I'm not 100% sure that I could do something like this. You know, it might be a little bit tough to make that work correctly. Let's work on the Satisfactory or Far Cry or something. I don't know. Nuclear, yeah, that's not a bad idea, but we're not doing that anytime soon. I got enough on my plate right now. I'm not sure that that's, guys. I'm not sure I'm into doing an SPMT like this. I'm thinking, dudes. Yeah, that could work. I could make something with guides. I could basically put guides on the bottom of the SSTO. Put alignment guides, like what I do on the pad, and then have the vehicle have robotics that aligns to the SSTO, and then have hydraulics just straight lift the damn thing. Now, what I'm wondering here, the thing's 289 tons, right? So, like, if I did this, how tall is one of these things? Could one of these things fit underneath? Could it fit underneath here? No, it can't. It can't fit underneath it. So if I had a vehicle that had those attached to it, it wouldn't be able to fit. Now, okay, so there's these things right here. Now, how much force do those have? They have 100 kilonewtons, okay? So, we have 289. Let's just go in here like this and do that. So the thrust is 13,000. 13,000 gives us a 4.41 TWR. Alright, so 13,111 divided by 4.41 is 2,900 kilonewtons to hit a 1.0 TWR, right? It's a ballpark. That means we would need 29 of those small things, the 29 of these small ones, to, you know, hold the thing up. Right? Oh, what fuel tank did I fill up? Uh-oh. There it is. That's the one we filled up. So, 29 of those at 100. What about you? That thing is at also 100. This thing is 800. So, yeah, it wouldn't need as much. I'm trying to think of how many parts this recovery vehicle that I'm trying to make would be. Yeah, okay. All right. So save that. Leave that like this. Sorry, buddy texted me. The tanker, that's what I'm looking for. The heck is the tanker? Ah, here we go. All right. So this thing holds up 140 metric tons. It's 300. It's a 300-ton vehicle. How many? So we have four per. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 40 wheels, 30 hydraulics, or we could just do air brakes. Air brakes hold the thing up just fine. But the hydraulics could be nice, especially if we lock them. And this is 147 parts. Okay. This vehicle, we could probably make it for, I don't know, 150 parts maybe. Because that's how much this thing is, right? You know? This thing's really 150 parts? Where have all the parts gone? Oh, it's the struts that hold everything together. Got it. I mean, we won't necessarily have that many struts, but yeah, 150 would probably be about what we're looking for. Is any wheel suspension travel enough? Yeah. All right. All right. We needed 40 wheels to hold this thing up. 40 of those, and, you know, Canadian, yeah, I guess so 10% would be 32. Yeah. All right, let's do it. Let's see if I can make that. I should be able to make it. Guys, what I'm thinking is if, you know, we might be able to lock the hydraulics out if we have enough of them to lift the whole thing up right. You know, they might not drift at all, and then if we lock them out, it'll work like what I did with the crane jacks. Those things didn't drift. And I reloaded the crane plenty of times, and they still stayed pretty damn still. Yeah. 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 That should fix the problem. I'm pretty sure. And this fuel truck proves it, because I know that the wheels can hold this up. That's fine. And I know that this can be raised because I used air brakes in this regard. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to build out this vehicle right now. V3, let's go. Lock the fairings out. Okay, so let's modify the vehicle a little bit. We're going to modify it, and we're going to do this. I'm going to put alignment brackets on the bottom of this thing, okay? I need the alignment brackets to basically be equidistant. Ooh, that looks a little strange. I need the alignment brackets to be equidistant from the center of mass so we get a good alignment. So literally, 2 of them need to be right there. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, that's fine. That's not a big deal. You got any more of them leaks? I'll admit, that does look a little bit strange, and I guarantee you guys I'm going to get asked questions about it. People are going to be like, what the hell what is that? I don't know what that is. And that's okay. It's fine. Alright, so if I flip this around 180 degrees, now, actually, you know what I should do? Here, I'm going to attach the aft alignment brackets to the fairing right here. And once again, I'm not really too worried about this thing causing drag. This thing, there's no way that these will add anything of importance to the design. Like, there's not a chance that they're going to be the difference between it working and not. This thing already generates way more drag in other places, and yeah, I don't think we ever need to worry about it. Oh, okay, no. I want to attach them to this right here. Let's attach them to that ADTP right here. And once again, these are going to be the alignment brackets for the truck. The truck is basically going to drive underneath here. And then I'm going to have a robotic component that'll push up against the insides of these brackets, and it'll align it, and then we can lift the thing up and dock it to that port. That port's on the center of mass. The reason why I wanted to attach these to the ADTP, right, is because if I grandparent strut them, it grandparent struts to the girder segment. See that? That's a good idea. That's what we want. Okay. So now the next set I want attached to the girder segment, and if I attach these to the girder segment, and then we grandparent strut that, it'll strut to the root part. it struts to the root part right above them. Perfect. Okay, and they're equidistant from the center of mass? Yep. Awesome. It's gonna look a little bit strange having those down there, but... Could the vehicle have the alignment parts and push forward or backward to the gear for alignment? I don't like pushing on something that's sprung like that, Shady. Because if you hit this, it's gonna compress the gear and crack and strike it. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that, dude. Alright. So save this out like this. If not to the gear, could it line up off the rear of the SSTO? I'm sure I could make some kind of locator system, Shady, but what happens when we go to dock it? The thing that needs to dock it is the launch box. The launch box takes up the back. I'm trying to avoid doing that. That's a good idea. But if I was going to do that, if I was going to use the back for alignment, whatever we would have to make would have to be retracted. And then that's just another part that's going to be on hydraulics in my mind. Or going to be using robotic parts. And I'm not too incredibly keen on that. I don't think he'll be very keen. He says he already got one. What? He says he's already got one. Hang on one second. Sorry. One of my buddies in Vegas has SEMA tickets. He has extra SEMA tickets. The problem is that SEMA and him are in Vegas. I would love to. Can't do it. When's summer car? In an hour. I don't have time, Canadian. By the time I drive out there, SEMA's gonna be over, bro. SEMA's happening right now. It ends on Friday. Oh, one of my buddies have SEMA tickets and I can't go. Ah. No, Badger, it's fine. It sucks. A lot, but it's fine. Give me 1 second. My buddy that has SEMA tickets asked me how the truck is doing because I saw him when we were at 154, so I'll send him a picture. Sad EJ is sad, man. Alright, hang on. Hang on a second. Hang on, dude. Hey, I'm working right now. Can I talk to you later? There we go. I want to go to SEMA. I'm gonna go next year. Sucks you didn't know beforehand. I kind of, you know what the part that sucks about this the most, Element? I did know. So the buddy that's texted me is the buddy I stayed with when I was in Vegas during Route 154. I did know. Ran out of time. It just, stuff came at me too fast, dude. You're like getting sick and just everything that's going on. Yeah, I just lost track of time. Which blows. Then I'll see you at SEMA next year. Sounds good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I was gonna say I basically already have this truck enabled. Guys, you guys mind if I buy Collins's transport vehicle? I could make this right now. Is everybody okay with that? If I buy it, so it's 47 G's, and my rule about buying stuff is, because this is already made, this is exactly what I need, it's just needs some minor modifications, and I think it might need a little bit more wheels. I already made this thing, and I know it works, because I've used it to move shuttles around. And keep in mind the shuttle isn't as heavy as this thing, but so it's 47 G's. My rule is ×2 and round up to the nearest 100th or 100,000. So that means it would be 100,000. So I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna do it by minusing 100 G's out of my bank account. There you go. Nope, not okay. You shut up. It's not going to take much modification to get that thing to work. It does. It's literally, it's a transporter. It's the same exact thing that I'm talking about. See, the Kometo. It's just going to need... Alright, so we don't have that unlocked. I don't have the big battery bank unlocked. And it even has the air brakes already attached. We're not going to need the shuttle integration systems, but I'm not going to mess with any of that just yet. And Kerbals can move around in it. See? It's got lights on it and stuff. We'll, I'm gonna redo the lights because the lights we need the newer lights. Off topic, but when you were in Cali, did you see that the 3rd gen Camaro the Hoonigans built? Yeah, that was there. Yep. They wheeled that in. That was being wheeled into the shop basically the day that I left. So that footage of them wheeling it in, I was there. Yeah. Well, to be fair, they may have filmed that the next day. I don't know. I don't know for sure. You know what? We don't need those. Get rid of that too. Just... Your truck was still there from what I saw. See, they use footage from all over the place, though, dude. They go back and use a lot of stock footage that they shot at different times. At least that's from what I understand, right? Like, so I saw that the F2 poopy was there. I saw that it was there, but like I said, the footage from the Camaro, that was shot after I was there. I know because when they took the thing out and they pressure washed it, Mile, you could see the bench seat from the truck basically where I left it. I gave them the bench seat to the truck. I gave it back to them. And they were like, cool, dude. I'm like, yeah, you want to put that like inside or something? And they're like, yeah, cool. We'll use this for like art and stuff. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I was just gonna take the stuff to the junkyard, and they were like, nah, no. I'm like, okay. So yeah, the bench seat, the original bench seat from the F2 from Tough Enough is there. It's in the shot when they're cleaning out the Camaro. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. We're gonna need more tires. Do you have an Imager album of your recent projects? Just go on Twitter. Just go on Twitter and look at the media tab. Yeah, I have pictures from all throughout Route 154. Like, I have a picture of it in every city that we stopped in. Yeah, got a bunch of stuff. Buying this thing is so much easier. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you ain't kidding. All right. Adapted from engineering mode save for adapted from CTSNG is the right way to say that. I originally built it on 1/31/2019. Okay. We'll just call you SpaceX now, reusing defunct vehicles. I know you have to consider part count, but I've seen some choice spots for a Fred. Why? Because, stop it. Stop that. Stop that. Stop it. Alright. Last thing I need is a center of mass indicator on this thing. That's for when we go to modify this a little bit later. I'm making the modifications that I know that we need now. There. And then we'll... Yeah, then we save this. Realize it's not March. Oh, it's funny, because, yeah, the dates that you guys do are different than the dates that we do. Huh. I have a hard time believing you built this a few months ago. Element, I'll be honest with you, if I didn't look at this and you asked me how long ago I made this, I would have told you 2018. I didn't think, I mean, but then again, 131.19, like, pretty much. This is a long, yeah. Like the element, you know what the messed up part is? Dude, I remember making this. I remember making it, and I remember saying, like, okay, we need to, you know, use the guide dowels, and we need to line up everything. I remember exactly what I was trying to do with this, which is strange, but yeah. Okay. Now we just got to put our liner systems on, and then, yeah, that's it. Come on, game. Literally pulling a SpaceX. That's right, Hip. Yep. You got it, dude. Okay. So, if I go up here into the seas, we should have the Kometo. Yeah, see, I have the Kometo and the shuttle. Now let's go down here to LV5B3. Back over to here. Satisfactory soundtrack, TT. Sorry, my chat room just reset, guys. Oh, okay. Tessa, I see it. Yep. Might want to check the hierarchy. I think this thing is for... I think this is before the last couple of aha moments. Hierarchy on what, Tessa? The transporter. I don't... Okay. What do you want me to look at? Honest question. I mean, I'll look at it. I think it's all right. Hey, Louie, what's going on, man? Oh, yeah, no, Tessa, I was looking at it when I was modifying it. It's a very straightforward hierarchy. Believe it or not, it's really simple. The root part is the lander can. I might switch it to the SRB. The SRB is attached to the lander can. The back SRBs are on a bicoupler to another set of SRBs. Yeah, no, it actually obeys the hierarchy rules pretty dang well, believe it or not. Yeah, it's not bad, Tessa. I'm good, Louie. How are you? Okay. Nice, Louie. There you go. Finish the down payment of your BMW. Finish paying down payment. Oh, okay. Yeah, everything's good, dude. Yeah, it might be right around the time for a light bulb, Tessa, or I just shooting from the hip and got it right. It's probably the second one, dude. I'll be real with you. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably the second one. Alright, we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Oh no, I was starting to figure it out. I could tell you just by how that was put together right there. Yeah, no, Tessa, we were starting to figure it out. It was close. Yeah, I can tell you by how some of this equipment is made. Yeah, we were starting to get it. I'm gonna move these mounts back, and then I'm not sure, Tessa. Alright, you know what? Before I go and make the alignment systems, here's what we gotta do. So we have the center of mass of this vehicle and the center of mass of the SSTO pretty much lined up. So that's basically what this is gonna look like. It's gonna be a little bit ridiculous. Now, a couple of things. I have my alignment bars. How do we line it up? How are we going to align? Because what I want this thing to do, guys, alright, so if we line it up with the jet truck gives us, jet truck basically gives us ground height, right? That's for the most part ground height, right? So what I wanted it to do, or what I wanted to be able to do, is raise this thing, right? I wanted to be able to lift this up with its air brakes, and if I lift it up, that's when we slip into the guides, right? Are you sure this can take the weight? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. It might. Might not. We'll find out. Basically, I want to be able to line this thing up. Lift it, line it up, and then move forward. But I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Huh. Am I alone that the lack of launches have been sad this year? Yeah. Are you talking about like real life? The launches were great, Trojan, until July. Yeah. I mean, we had the Lucy mission going off, but yeah, launches were fantastic. We were getting a Starlink launch a week. It was great. Yeah, basically nothing launched all summer. There was Lucy, which I slept through, which I'm annoyed about. And then there's Crew 2. You know? That's nice. Yeah, Starlink was awesome, Entropy. We need more Falcon Heavy? Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, there's been a lot of good launches, but I understand what you're saying. It does seem... Dude, yeah, we hit a huge slump. Huge slump starting in July. Nothing launched in July. Literally no launches. Maybe like, actually, now I'm thinking about like maybe one in the entire month. We've been on a pretty hard dry spell. Yeah, 2019 and 2020 was fun, man. Don't worry. I mean, we got James Webb. Artemis 1. James Webb, Artemis 1, like, there's the double asteroid redirect, there's the Psyche mission, and then Starlink on top of that, Starship orbital flight test in the coming months, like, Starliner, whenever that goes. There's a lot of good stuff waiting in the wings, dude. Webb, the sat with 344 single points of failure. I mean, Trojan, you were talking about launches. Starliner will be ready when it's ready, dude. Imagine if they had found that problem when people were on it on orbit. Yeah, that would have been bad. So it's probably better to find these problems now. SpaceX, as I recall, SpaceX did have a little bit of a NTO valve issue as well. No, everybody just conveniently forgets that part. You know, like, dude, it happens. Working with NTO is a pain in the butt. That's why Elon doesn't want any hypergolics on Starship, dude. I mean, Trojan, you heard about that, right? SpaceX had a stuck valve too. They had permeation in their valves. Same exact problem. Capsule exploded on the test stand, but it exploded. Oh, it popped like a freaking popcorn kernel. They found that problem 2 years before Boeing, so does Boeing not look at that? SpaceX showed them the problem. They're not using the same valves. I mean, if they're not using the same valves, I'm sure SpaceX, well, either that or SpaceX didn't say something. Maybe they didn't. Which would be really messed up. Is the chemical process not the same with nitrogen tetroxide? Hey, Jensen, what's going on? Like, what are you trying to get at, dude? Like, I don't understand. What's the point of this conversation? What are you trying to get at? Well, Starliner should have done this. Like, yeah, probably. They probably should have been ready a long time ago. Probably should have figured that software stuff out correctly. That OFT1 was an even bigger snafu than the valves, man. Living how you been. It's all right, man. Remo and I are going to the Bruins game tomorrow, so that's good. Hey, Joe. I applied to be the photo editor yesterday for a publication. Cool, man. The whole point of having Dragon and Starliner is redundant to similar architectures, so the valves weren't the same. Wasn't trying to get at that, just NTO was a known issue before OFT2 on the stand. For a capsule that's using completely different parts. Trojan, what you're saying is like, well, Chevy had a valve float problem with the LS engine, so we should check all the Ford V8s too. Because they're both using V8s, right? Wasn't this problem known? Like, see what you're saying? Does that explain it a little bit better? Like, yeah. I'll be watching you with my Iserman jersey. Yeah. You know, like, dude, hey, it's ready when it's ready, bro. What you working on? An upgraded jet truck, Reagan. Taking this and refining it a little bit more. Alright, here's how we're going to do this. Come on, chat. So what I'm thinking, for this is, I need something that's going to lift this up, right? I need something to lift this thing up and line us up, right? And when that happens, right, then we need to lift up the entire vehicle. I need to lift the whole vehicle up so I can get to the docking port. As we lift the vehicle up, we have to retract these. So we push the vehicle up and retract the top. Always add a little bit more to what you think it is, what you think it's supposed to be. And then these ones, no damping. Traverse rate set it to 10. And make the maximum 94. There we go. Yeah, hopefully that doesn't collide too much. Hang on, let me move this back here and let me make sure that these are placed in the same spots. Yep, pretty much. Good. Will this truck be able to hold the SSDO properly? It looks like it'll tip. I think we'll be all right. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I mean, it might not be. I don't know, Flagon. I think it'll be okay. It might not. We'll find out. I mean, you got to remember, this thing is super low to the ground. So. I don't know if I can. I'm not sure, dude. Maybe. I don't know. This is an off-the-shelf thing. Off-the-shelf stuff never works exactly how you want it to, right? Like, it's just kind of one of the things that we're gonna have to figure out. What is this music from? It's great for working to. Satisfactory. This is Satisfactory's tunage. Yeah, very. Yeah, it's nice. Easy music to listen to. Class, okay. Crew 3 has completely dropped from the NASA TV schedule, with next space flight reporting it as net November. So this is almost certainly means that Crew 2 return is coming first. NASA must be very happy that they got that Soyuz seat to get Mark up there. Thomas, for the record, who gave them that seat for basically nothing? Oh, Boeing, that's right, yeah. Interesting. Funny how that works. All right. So what's the amount of travel that we measured with these guys right here? Target extension. So we basically had them move about 650 mil. Okay. So we said we wanted 32 of those things facing down to be able to lift the vehicle up. If we overclock some, what does that do? So if I give them 200 the amount of power, 200% the amount of power by overclocking, and keep in mind we're going to use more electricity if we do it. If I give them 200, how much do we need? 16. If I make them 400, we need 8. Okay. 8. You know what I was just thinking? You don't generally want the center of mass of this thing to line up with the center of the SSTO. I'd want the center of mass kind of to be where most of the wheels are. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. But then we have double the wheels back here. I would want that center of mass to be like... I mean, I would want this to be like up here somewhere. We'll make it go about as far forward as it can go without touching that gear.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Go to throttle up. Hey, Grigo. Good evening. I hope you're well. I'm all right. Yeah, getting there. No dampening. Set the traverse rate to 11. What's the traverse rate on the liner pieces? You know what? We'll test this being on the center of mass. Maybe it'll work right. Maybe it'll work right. Who knows? Did you say goat at throttle up? No. Yes. Okay. Now, cow controller. Alignment. Actually, we're gonna need 3. So this one over here is alignment, the other one is the jacks, and then this one is the master controller. Alright, Louis, see you, buddy. How far off are the dry and wet center and mass? Not that far, Shady, believe it or not. They're not that much different. I have markers. So that's the exact center of mass. I left a marker in here just to be sure. The wet center of mass is like right here. It's very close. And then I have a center of mass indicator on the payload bay too. You wanna... Putting these center of mass indicators on everything is super freaking useful. It helps you line everything up. I don't think people realize how big of a difference that actually makes. Everything okay? Yeah, I'm kind of pushing to finish this, Builder. I want to test this today. I need to get this done, dude. You know? Yeah, everything's fine. How about you, buddy? You get that thing solved? You call that guy out or what? I hope so. Hope you did. That's a... Yeah, well, hey, that's why I left the mission mode rule, so we could buy this stuff in case we needed it. Okay, we'll take the doo-doo butter cow controller. If you see two cow controllers Yeah, oh no. I duplicated them so they all had the name alignment. I just needed to change the name. I was like, oh. So I'm gonna do a little bit of some naughty cow controller stuff here. These cow controllers only push up with 100 kilonewtons of force, right? Well, if I take the curve and we do a little bit of this here, make that curve go up off the page, and then we set it right here, and then we 392. What about right there? 390, 392. Yeah, that's fine. 392. It's pretty much 400. So we copy that, we paste that, we paste that, we paste that, and we paste that. Each one of these is pushing up with about 400. We have 312 mass. Yeah, that should be enough. Okay. It was all a fluke. My friend was seen with somebody that looked similar to her, so somebody got confused. Things are still pretty good, though. Feel like a fool believing it all, especially because I'm in high school and all that gossip shouldn't be expected. Yeah, you learn. You live and learn, dude. It happens. All right. Is this Jet Truck 2.0? Kind of, yeah. Why is chat so dead? It's late. It always dies around this time, Builder. It happens. They're all watching or they're sleeping. It's normal. I'm gonna save this as LV5 B3 Jet. Let's go Jeb Truck. Save. All right, let's just get rid of that. Okay, here we go. Let's hope this thing doesn't blow up. If it blows up, we're gonna have a real bad day. Please, for the love of God, do not explode. You should use the testing article for the pad testing, from pad testing. Yeah. I'm currently planning a trip to Boston sometimes next year, so in your opinion, what is the best holiday to visit around 4th of July? Yeah, birthplace of the revolution. Come to Boston on the 4th of July. It's the best. Oh, jeez. Why are there Kerbals aboard? You guys can just get out of this thing and hide. Bruh.
Bruh.
Bruh. There's no probe core on this thing. Bruh. Why do they need to hide? If it blows up, I gotta recover, and I'm not testing this with people on board. We'll test the automated docking systems with no one aboard. Any missions in here that we can take for cash? All these advances. Couple more tests and then we'll move to after hours. I know you guys have been waiting for that. Icarus on Friday? Yeah, maybe. Nah, I'm waiting for early hours, staying up all night. stupid. I never finished building the crane, no. Well, which crane? Let me see it. What are you doing there? Interesting. Okay. Okay, something to think about, yeah. Yeah, oh, thanks, French. I appreciate that. Alright, jet truck. With a probe core. Switch it over here. We gotta switch to the VAB first. I think I got something, Ewok. I already checked it. Come on. Let's go. Stupid freaking cough. It's going away. It's much better than it was, that's for sure. Pretty much clear. I'll be good by tomorrow. Yeah, this one. Ugh. Freaking just lingered for a little while. No, Builder, I haven't. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I ain't talking tomorrow or not. I'm dealing with the fallout of losing my voice, guys. That's what's going on. Come on. Huh. It looks like the transporter doesn't ride at an even ride height. And because it doesn't ride at an even ride height, the alignment system is, we're having trouble, well, aligning it. Well, that seems to be working. Okay, so the center one here is that overclocked, and now these ones should have a huge force multiplier on them. These guys. They do? Okay. The vehicle is moving a little bit, but so let's move these down. Alright, well, let's try this again. Dang it. I'm having trouble aligning it. Like, I'm totally aligned. We're lined up, but I'm having trouble with the forward and back. Not a hard problem to solve, just an annoying one. What I should test now is put this to maximum, switch to the SSTO, and retract the gear. See what happens. see if I can do an old strategy here. Set that to 94, right? And then load up the jacks, right? The frick? Out of electrical. All right, we need to even out. I need to even out the ride height on that vehicle. I need to even it. And then after that, after we even out the ride height, I need to, I need to just give it a fuel cell. So fuel cell and ride and evening the ride height is what we need. It's 11 o'clock, guys. Time for after hours. We'll button that thing up tomorrow. I won't tomorrow. I'm not playing KSP tomorrow. I have, tomorrow we're going to the, Bremo and I are going to the Bruins game. I'm going to try to rest my voice as best as I can, I guess. Probably a dumb question, but did you overclock all the pistons? Yeah, all the pistons are overclocked, dude. So, balance the ride height and go from there. I might pop in for an early hours stream, guys, maybe. So against my better judgment here, because I'm not doing a normal stream tomorrow, because we're not doing a normal stream tomorrow, I said I would do after hours. I did after hours yesterday, and we played